The first house here is basically the energy that you bring to the table. And the High Priestess is showing up in the reverse. And this is something you want to be a little bit careful about. The High Priestess deals with our intuition, our innate sense of knowing, our, intuition kicking in overdrive when we feel almost as if somebody is either hiding information or we feel as if there's some information that we're privy to that we want to keep hidden from other people. So there's this sense of like shifty energy about you, and shifty not in a way where, you're not trustworthy, but I feel like there is something that you're kind of like on the fence about. Should I reveal the information? How is that going to be received by the people in my environment? Should I put in my 2 cents? Should I tell them how much I know? So I feel like you're at dealing with this internal conflict within yourself as it relates to being privy to some information that you feel is really, really big, and you're not really sure how to deal with it. It's almost as if you need an outlet for these things, because you feel like the weight of the secret might be bearing on you. Okay, so that's what I'm sensing for some of you. And then for others with the High Priestess, it basically means there's something here coming through, and I feel like it's relationship oriented. Okay, there's something coming through in the month of February that you cannot turn a blind eye anymore. So whatever you've been sweeping under the rug, whatever you've been kind of like putting on the back burner as it pertains to your relationship, I do feel that things are coming to light, and I feel that you're going to need to deal with this. You're going to need to make some changes, some adjustments, for good or bad, and to figure out how you can do that. I feel like that's what you've been kind of on the fence about, okay? Coming through in your second house here is the finance house. And it's also, we have here the Justice card. And the Justice card is all about reciprocity. It's basically, if you work hard, you will get a lot of financial abundance. If, on the other hand, you don't work hard and you've just been coasting, there's going to be a reprisal. There's going to be like a chastisement. I feel like you might be called out on it, okay? So I do feel this situation playing out in a way where it's divine justice. Okay, whatever energetically you are putting in, you're going to get out. So you have a very good card here that indicates prosperity overall, if you are willing to work hard and match people at their level. On the other hand, it can indicate some type of a change in fortune if you're not careful. So this is a very, very karmic card. It's showing up here in the second house as a warning. I do feel some of you might have been dealing with some legal issues, and you're waiting for some type of compensation. Okay, so if that's coming through, either through work, like workers' compensation, and I believe Aries got something very similar. I feel that it's going to be coming through, and it's going to be ruled in your favor. And then additionally, they might need some additional information from you as well in order to finalize some case. So I do see things are going to be dragged on a little bit, but I feel like it's going to be concluded. It's going to be settled. It's going to be resolved this year. Okay. And then additionally, as it pertains to your values, they're pretty much telling you to really, really be cognizant of the things that you value. And I feel like some of you might be put in a situation where you start to realize that you might be valuing the wrong things, valuing the wrong people, and making allowances for things and people in the past that you shouldn't have. And so this is a card that is telling you to realign yourself with your inner sense of a moral compass, with your own internal values, and see if the people around you are still in accordance with that, okay? So finances looks very, very stable, and I feel like on a more spiritual level, this might be it might deal more with like just your moral compass. Where are you aligned? Who are you aligned with? And whether or not it's in alignment with, what you believe to be core values that you grew up in, or that you have cultivated over the years. So there is some very strong messages coming through in the values department. Okay. The third house deals with communication. And we have the world. And I keep seeing almost as if some of you have encountered some really, really big information, and you're keeping mum, like you're keeping, you know, everything under the radar. You're trying not to slip up, and you're very, you need like somebody to share this with, but you were held in confidence. So I feel that you can't really, you don't have an outlet. You don't have another person that you can talk about this with. So I feel like this sense of like, struggling in silence, or even holding in a very, very big secret that you can't tell anyone, and feeling a little bit isolated, okay? But in terms of communication, this is a very, very, very good card. The world basically indicates a lot of opportunities for speaking engagement, for publishing, for putting your image out there, for being recognized, as well as being admired, okay? This is usually what I feel like a very beautiful woman or a very beautiful man. This is somebody that is, you know, photograph worthy. This is somebody that a lot of people want to be seen with. So I do feel in terms of your communication, you're making quite a splash on the public scene, in the public limelight, okay? As it relates to publishing overall, this is a really good card that basically means that sometimes maybe writing some things out and then rehearsing it verbally is going to be to your benefit, because I feel like you might be put in positions where you're dealing with foreigners, because the world indicates travel. So as the two pieces of information lines up, you might be dealing with somebody who speaks a different tongue. You yourself might speak a different tongue. So they are urging you to write something out on paper before a big speaking engagement, rather than just, you know, improvising. It's in your best interest to rehearse it, know it inside out before you make this public appearance, okay? So there's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of, the spotlight is being shown upon you as it pertains to how you communicate. So make sure whatever you communicate is the truth, and make sure you're not hiding anything you're not supposed to, and making sure that information that you're supposed to keep hidden don't accidentally slip out, okay? So be careful for this month. In terms of your fourth house, we have here the Three of Swords in the reverse position. Here's what I'm feeling. I feel like a lot of you have grown up in an environment where you felt almost as if you were under a lot of scrutiny. So I feel like this is like early childhood conditioning issues coming back, okay? So you might have had a mother figure in your life. Possibly, I feel like some of you, a very absent father, either emotionally absent or physically absent, and a very possibly overbearing and controlling mother. The mother, I feel like there might have been a lot of love here. However, the ways in which she showed her love, she might have been very perfectionistic. She might have been very, very critical of you. And I almost feel like you had to work twice as hard to please her. You had to strive twice as hard in order to live up to her expectations. So I feel like, you know, as you grow up, you go into the world and you start to realize that, you know, you've been really, really hard on yourself. But because of this sense of like, you know, perfectionistic tendencies in your childhood, I feel like you are now in a position where you are excelling beyond other people's expectations. You are even excelling beyond your peers. So I do feel like it's kind of like a curse and a blessing. And I do sense that you're starting to see this sense of, you know, like early on, like being perfectionistic is starting to pay off. You didn't see it before, but I feel like for this month, there might be some healing happening in your family environment where you start to realize that, you know, oh, they raised me this way for this specific reason. And I should have, you know, I shouldn't have doubted. I shouldn't have questioned it. So there's a lot of healing here. There's a lot of emotional as well as geographical as well as physical rifts happening within your family environment where you're starting to understand things. You're starting to see the big picture. At the same time, I feel like there's something here about, I keep seeing somebody who is doing something that they feel is like misaligned with their values and with their family values. So that's what I'm sensing. I feel like there's a little bit of internal struggle with some of you based on, you know, the things that you're doing, and based on what you feel your parents would want. So once again, parental expectations, you know, cultural expectations even. So I do sense something here, like a sore spot here that needs to be fixed for the month of February. And the ways in which you can fix that is that you need to stop being so hard on yourself. And you need to also understand that, you know, you did what you need to do in order to seek your truth, in order to, you know, do the work and put in the work, that put in your fair share of the work that you feel that you had to do. So I do sense that it's a very personal experience, and other people can't really judge you because they're not living your life and they're not going through whatever you're going through. So I feel like some of you are coming into this month with this sense of like, alone in your struggle, not feeling understood, putting on a very brave face, but dealing with a lot of self-doubt at the core. Okay. And all of these, social engagements are not helping either. You know, the very public engagements. So things will be okay. Have faith in what you're doing. Okay. You are your own person. So the past, and especially what other people expect from you, they shouldn't, affect you as a person, and you should not let them affect your trajectory in life. Okay. So I feel like you are overcoming this though. I feel like it's going to take the majority of the month, but I do feel that there's going to be a sense of release coming through. Okay. As it relates to, first of all, your family environment. So this is a card that deals with like separation. Okay. So I do feel overall there might be family reunions happening for many of you. There might be even be opportunities for people from the past to reconnect with you. And I feel like siblings, strongly siblings coming to visit siblings, and especially if they're geographically living at a distance from you. And I also feel like a lot of communication coming through from the family unit, a lot of social engagement. Either way, that geographical or even that emotional rift between family members, it's going to be bridged. Okay. So I feel like it's overall positive energy. A lot of healing that can take place here within the family unit. In terms of your fifth house, the fifth house deals with creativity. We have the Fool, and it also deals with the ways in which you entertain yourself and the people that you are allying yourself with when you want to hang out, when you just want to have fun. The Fool in the reverse position is a card of warning. It's almost as if you need to be a little bit more careful about the people that you are associating yourself with. So it's like you can no longer make these decisions lightly. You can no longer allow past transgressors to come back. You have to be very selective about, you know, who you're letting into your life, who you're spending your time with, and who you're devoting your energy to. So this is a card that basically means that you can't do things in a reckless manner. You have to be a lot more responsible, and you have to ally yourself and you know, maintain a specific image, but also ally yourself in a way that is in accordance with what is socially acceptable, what is socially appropriate even. So once again, this is a little bit of a wobbly card. And as it pertains to like recreation and creativity, the Fool in the reverse is basically being very, very cautious as well when it comes to financial dealings. For those of you who are self-employed in any type of a creative endeavor, so you might be, you know, I feel with this card, it's kind of like looking at new ways in order to make money, or looking at new ways to find recreation, to find to find entertainment in your life. So finding new ways to do this. Okay. So they're saying the old ways is not working. You might be associated with like the wrong people. And so you're going to have to break out of your normal group. You're going to have to break out of your normal niche in order to find something that is in more in alignment with you. But either way, there's this overall sense of like being cautious, being very, very cautious about how other people see you, putting on a specific image. When in fact you feel differently underneath. Okay. So I feel like there's social expectations as well as your internal expectations. In terms of your sixth house, this is your work house, and this is a very positive card. The Magician is somebody, traditionally, this is the orator. This is somebody that is either, you know, a teacher, a politician, even a lawyer, somebody who might be a traveling salesman. So this is a person that can generate a lot of buzz with their words, with their speech, and they're able to push along agendas. They're able to formulate new plans. They're somebody who's quite intelligent. So I feel like in your work environment, you might be seen this way, where other people are looking to you for your skills, for your expertise. You're going to be in the limelight. You're going to be possibly booked for some speaking engagement. And so it's really good for you to put yourself out there and align yourself with some like-minded people that are, you know, fighting towards the same goals, or even like speaking as experts on a specific topic. So very positive card. In terms of your work environment, you might be dealing with this type of an energy. This is somebody who is a little bit of a talker, and they might distort the truth, but they're also not somebody that's willing to get their hands dirty in order to implement whatever it is that they preach. Okay, so there's a little bit of a mixed bag energy here. I feel like you might be called upon for some speaking engagement. You might be called upon to think on your toes, think on the spot. And I feel like this is a very good card for additional training in the communications field, in public speaking. That's going to be required of you in order to rise up above in your job, in order to get like a positive reception in your work environment. But overall, this is a really good card. So as it relates to work and finances, we have two major arcana cards here, the Justice card and the Magician. So they're telling you to aim for some type of speaking out about, you know, social justice or something like that. That's going to be very, very important for you. And that would be a very good way for you to make money overall. Okay. In terms of your relationship sector, what we have here is the Lovers. And what I'm getting with this card overall is this is a card about, you know, two people that look really, really good together. Okay. This is like great chemistry, great passion, great idea, like great ideological alignment. So both people are very much in tune with one another. However, we can look at, you know, we can look at this as third party interfering in a relationship. It could be in-laws, it could be exes, it could be, you know, ex-spouses from either parties, or it could be the external environment that's not allowing them to have a normal relationship. So I do feel some difficulties coming through in your relationship sector that you need to sort out. I don't feel that it's going to break the relationship, but I do feel some interference coming through from third parties. And as a result of it, I feel like you need to be very, very strong in your foundation. You need to be able to trust your intuition. And I feel like you are heavily, your vision of what truth is heavily influenced by other people. And I feel like there's this internal conflict playing out in your life where you're not really sure what to believe, and you're not really sure of certain things anymore. And so they're telling you, you know, like withdraw. And they're telling you to figure things out on your own because you have the capabilities here with the Magician. But I feel like you might be dealing with somebody that is in your work environment that is serving as a temptation, because they seem very intelligent, very, very eloquent, but they're making like promises that they might not be able to keep. So they're serving as a temptation to you. But I feel like they are all talk and they might not follow through with their actions. Okay, so be a little bit careful. If you're flirting with somebody in the work environment, just be careful. I feel like you're mesmerized by somebody in your work environment and you're keeping it a secret. That's what I'm sensing. They're telling you to be very, very strong in your own truths so that you're not swayed by other people, so that you're not bobbing back and forth when you're presented with facts from both sides. So be careful about that. The Lovers is a good card that indicates great chemistry, but great chemistry often brings about, you know, like passion and a lot of heated exchange between two people. It can also bring a situation where two people can lack innate incompatibilities overall. So just something to keep your eyes out about. What I'm also feeling here when we have, this is the 8th house. It shows up here as the 10 of Cups in the reverse position. And the eighth house deals with joint finances. It indicates some type of rebirth, regeneration as well. You know, it's the whole cycle of beginning to end. And with the 10 of cups in the reverse position, it basically means you're at an end of a cycle. A lot of you might be in a situation where you are shifting children between an ex-spouse, you know, like trying to decide what to do, trying to decide where the kids are staying. You might have you might be financially extracted from that person from the past, or you might be dealing with some type of an extraction that you're hoping to do. And I feel like it's more of an emotional extraction, because I feel like the legal issues have been resolved. And I feel like you're now deciding, you know, more of the emotional side of it, which is, where do the kids go? How many days do I have with the kids? How many days do you have with the kids? So I feel like that's what's happening in your eighth house here. And it's saying that, you know, with the 10, it's a end of a cycle and a beginning of a new one. So I feel like a lot of you are putting an end to some relationships. A lot of you are putting an end to relationships and sharing assets with another person. You might have been involved heavily or financially linked in with somebody, and now you're extracting yourself and you're getting that clean break. Okay, so either way, it's a good energy for closure and for moving on.